This is our TED Ed lesson on employee commitment. Our group consists of Stephanie Frederick, Mackenzie Shivers, Jennifer Brantley, and myself, Alfonso Beatty. There are three types of employee commitment: effective, continuance, and normative. Effective commitment. Effective commitment is the type of commitment that employers want their employees to feel. This is when an employee has some sort of emotional attachment to the company. An example of this would be when employees find their work rewarding. Continuance commitment. Continuance commitment is when the employee feels they need to stay because the cost of leaving would be too high. An example of this is when an employer pays very well and an employee needs money to pay for their nice house and car. Normative commitment. Normative commitment is when an employee feels as if they have a duty to stay at the organization. An example is when employees don't feel like they can leave because their manager has poured extra time into them or no one else knows how to do the job. Many studies have shown that employee commitment and job satisfaction are intertwined. Job satisfaction is a reflection of the attitude an employee has towards their work. Theorists claim that there are three main factors that influence job satisfaction. Personal factors, such as one's own persona or character. There is also organizational factors. This would be coworker support and the relationship in the workplace. Lastly, there are job factors, such as the employee's workload. Value congruence is another factor that leads to job satisfaction. Values guide actions and decisions. When an employee feels like they can be themselves and follow their values at work, they are more satisfied. Also, when leaders and followers values are congruent, employees are more satisfied. When employees are more satisfied, they are more likely to be committed. Now we have a video to help pull these ideas together.
Greetings, and welcome to the first section. First, let's talk about the kinds of impact a leader might have on their followers. In particular, let's talk about attitudes. In psychology, an attitude is an opinion or belief about something in the world. Usually it involves an evaluation of the desirability or the worthiness of a thing. For example, your belief about what the best sports team is an attitude, or whether Star Wars is the best movie series ever or completely overrated. Some of the most important attitudes in the workplace are job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and workplace engagement. Attitudes have three components: the cognitive, the affective, and the behavioral. The cognitive component is an intellectual understanding of the situation. The affective component consists of your feelings about that situation. The behavioral component is what you plan to do about that situation. For example, the cognitive component is a rational comparison of your job to other similar jobs. Are you paid more or less than other jobs like your own? The affective component is how you feel about it. Is the situation okay? Does it need to change? The behavioral component is how you will act on those feelings. You can learn more about that in the reading. However, it is worth noting now that the attitudes are more strongly related to your intentions than your behaviors. There are many situational constraints on how attitudes are expressed in the world. For example, you might hate your job, but you don't feel like you can leave because you have to pay rent. Taken all together, we can understand an attitude like job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is not just whether or not you like your job. There are many factors involved. Another important at-work attitude is organizational commitment. Perhaps you already know why leaders should want to inspire commitment in the team members. After all, research has shown that organizational commitment predicts job performance. Interestingly, this relationship is stronger in younger workers than in older ones. Now, there are three major kinds of organizational commitment that, as a leader, you might try to develop. They are affective commitment. These are the positive feelings you might have towards work. This is generally a desirable state and involves a sense of personal loyalty. Normative commitment. These are feelings of obligation to work. For example, you might work for a family business where you feel obligated to support the family by working there. And finally, continuance commitment. These are the perceived costs of leaving the organization. One example would be someone who stays because if they left, they could not afford their rent. Now, one major predictor of commitment is the psychological contract between the worker and the organization. In other words, if workers perceive that the organization does not keep their promises, they will become disengaged and less committed. So now that we know what attitudes are, we can ask what causes them. There are many potential causes, which are elaborated more in the readings. However, here are some examples. Personality, fit between the person and the organization, job characteristics, the psychological contract, like we just discussed, perceived fairness and justice, the relationships at work, and stress with work-life balance. Now, if, as a leader, you want to promote job satisfaction or commitment, then you'll need to understand these concepts and how they work to build those attitudes. You will learn more about them in later sections. To focus on one of these briefly, though, one major cause of job satisfaction is perceived fairness. People who feel their jobs are unjust or treat them unfairly tend to have extremely low job satisfaction. And we'll see the consequences of that later. Before we move to the next section, I'd like to make one final note. We have seen now a couple of the ways leaders can have a positive or a negative impact on their followers. Soon, we will talk about the ways these can improve or worsen team performance. These things might seem obvious to you. If so, then this should be your main takeaway message. Research has shown that managers tend to have a very poor sense of the job attitudes of their workers. There are many different reasons for this. Sometimes managers just assume that people are more satisfied than they actually are. At other times, workers don't feel that they can be honest about their feelings with their managers. So if you want to be an effective leader, you should commit to regular surveys to identify areas of improvement. This will also give workers a feeling of voice. This will make them feel empowered and subsequently more satisfied. In the readings, you will learn about whether job satisfaction improves job performance. You will also learn about a whole other kind of workplace behavior that is sometimes more important than normal job performance. Finally, you will learn what can cause workplace behavior to go horribly wrong.
So unlike our elders, younger generation employees do not commit to one career or organization for a lifetime. In fact, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average person will 12 or more jobs in their lifetime. With so many job changes throughout a lifetime, employee commitment is at an all-time low. A study conducted this year by the Balance Career states that the average tenure for employees is just 2.8 years. If this rate continues to be true, the average employee whose workers for roughly 40 years will have had 15 jobs before retirement. Commitment varies greatly across the various job sectors. Some industries experience incredibly high levels of turnover, while others experience employees committing and fulfilling significant tenure. Even within sectors of high commitment, some positions have greater commitment than others. Factors such as training and education, nature of the assigned task, and pay can determine which category a sector falls into. Not every organization within the specified sectors will experience the general level of commitment that comparable companies do. Each organization, with their distinctive culture, norms, and benefits, is unique. Due to the nature of these careers and the extensive training they require, employees are more likely to commit to an organization for an extended period of time. These positions typically overpay or bonuses based on performance, which can motivate employees to achieve and exceed their assigned tasks. The benefits in these positions are also attractive to employees. A few examples of high commitment job sectors are legal, engineering, management, and education. Unlike high commitment job sectors, the role within sectors experience a low commitment, require less training and education. That is not to say the roles are low or low skill positions, but they are more general and can easily be filled. These positions are also more plentiful. For example, if a waitress quits her job, she can find a new job quite easily with the vast pool of restaurants to choose from. On the contrary, a packaging engineer or director may have more difficulty finding a new job as a position they are seeking is specialized and harder to find. Since positions are flexible and plentiful, there is a less pressure to commit for an extended time. LinkedIn recently conducted a study to help determine why people were leaving their jobs. Of the 10,000 employees surveyed, nearly 40% of people were unhappy or dissatisfied based on the criteria shown here. The greatest reason for leaving, with approximately 45% of respondents confirming, is concern about the lack of opportunities for advancement. There is a plethora of reasons for an individual to leave an organization, but what is the underlying cause? The underlying factor of job commitment is lack thereof is fit congruence. Fit congruence can be defined as how well an employee aligns. There are two elements of congruence, including person-organization fit and person-job fit. A lack of congruence can lead to dissatisfaction and unhappiness, which can lead to an employee leaving the organization. It can also create stress, tension, and poor work-life balance. If you think back to the previous slide, the reasons people listed as factors in leaving their job or causes of job dissatisfaction fall into either these fit elements. Person-organization fit is defined as the congruent between the value system of the individual and the culture and value system of the organization. In order for an employee to be a good fit within an organization, they must be aligned with the company's mission, culture, work environment, and other employees. Person-job fit is simply how well an employee fits into a specific job or a specific role. Job fit assesses if the employee has the necessary skill and credentials required to complete the job duties. Basically, this element is asking what does the employee bring to the table. Person-job fit also looks at what benefits the employee receives from the role, like compensation or rewards. On this slide, it lists the foundations to why people want to be a part of the team. Maslow, Aldous, McClelland all had the variations of why people need to be a part of the team. Need such affiliation, belongingness, and relatedness are all key for teamwork. This video shows you just how teamwork is. For employees, teamwork levels the playing field in which each member is responsible and accountable to each other and to the outcome of the project. Therefore, it creates motivation within the team to produce a positive outcome. When employers for a team, the team governors themselves by holding each team member accountable. Therefore, the employer gives autonomy to the team, which gives the team a sense of control.